They don't just sell addiction, they sell flavor. Strawberry, mango, cotton candy, even blue raspberry. It sounds harmless, and sometimes it feels harmless. But what they don't tell you is what comes after the flavor fades: addiction, dependency, control. This isn't by accident. This is strategy. A strategy designed to pull people in before they even realize what they're stepping into. Today, we're not just talking about vaping, we're exposing the truth behind the flavors, the psychology behind the pull, and the consequences nobody posts about. This is Kollective Konversations. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Like I said, again, another hard-hitting, topic we have, on Catch My Breath through the TSK pathways. I'm here with my buddy Nick White.
Hello.
Right, he's been with us. He's been sitting with us. Me and him went to a presentation out of You're Not Alone in Oak Hill a couple of weeks ago. Had a good, really good turnout. It was a great thing for prevention, and this is just one of the extensions of it. I think about a month ago, me, Mike, and his mother took a training called Catch My Breath, and it was kind of offered to us in order to do it online, and it was definitely about vaping, and definitely about the dangers of vaping. So what happened was, so we already had the initiative getting ready to kind of, start. And then I went to a presentation last week called Tall Cop, Tall Cop Says Stop, a presentation that was put on by the Raleigh County United for Prevention. And, shout out to Kelly Gano for helping put it on. I know some Fayette County representatives did too, but it was very hard hitting. It was very hard hitting. It was very something that, was, it just shook me. To my core, just to know that, what was going on is right in our eyes. And the good thing about it is, and, I respect, it was a great training and I respect a lot of it. So today, we're just going to get into some of the things, but one of those things is that flavor, right? One of the things I did that he mentioned, was about, the presenter mentioned was about the flavors. And if we could get that out, and maybe, we could uncover a lot of this, how they're kind of enticing kids. Let's get it right, kids. And this is right, targeting them even, exactly. And I think, it's time to expose it, but there's a way. Like I said, we're, coming up with a, Catch My Breath initiative through the TSK pathways that we're going to start. It's a series of, trainings that we put on for youth. And this is just a start to bring it out, to introduce it exactly right. Because, Catch My Breath initiative isn't just a program. It's a response. Let's get it right. It's a response. And it's, it's what we're seeing every day in our communities. That's what's going on. Younger and younger kids are being introduced to vaping, right? And it's starting, it's not even about cigarettes anymore, which we already know that's bad. We know that. But what happens is being normalized. I could tell you something about me. I wasn't a cigarette smoker myself, but at the age of 8, I could go buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
I used to go get it from my uncle. And then bring it back. I just get the change for the candy, right? But I just bring it back to him. I didn't have to, right? And then but that was normal, right? To know that a kid may not be smoking, but now we know that they do. And me and Mike, have really, and then probably Nick too, has seen some of the harsh effects of smoking cigarettes, right?
Yes, sir.
So my thing was, it was one of those things that, like, even my own, education is, like I said, I'm not in the smoking community, but I'm like, vaping, it can't be that bad. I'm just saying it can't be worse than smoking. But then I know how they hooking them, and it is because they're hooking the younger.
Desensitizing.
Right. And but it has to be what? What's hooking them? That flavor. Flavor. And he, the presenter last week, Tall Cop, he even kind of, went over that. And we're seeing, more middle schoolers, experimenting with something they don't even really understand. Right. We don't understand it as adults. Right. And they don't. But while it doesn't feel dangerous, it's a problem. And that's what we're trying to attack. So flavors make it feel safe, but they're not.
They're not.
And that's a lot about what we're going to kind of go over a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something that I'll say that I've definitely found which we was kind of talking about it for a second, was kind of like that first time that I like got around vapes or like seen like I started to see it with my own eyes, and that would have been like around like freshman year of college, which that was around 2017-ish. And like before then, on my side in high school, I didn't see no vapes or anything like that before then. Where I came from in Maryland, we didn't have no bunch of smoke shops around or nothing like that, so it wasn't very apparent. But that freshman year, I went to Virginia Tech. I recall that there was a 7-Eleven down the street from the dorms. They couldn't stay stocked up for all the students. But like thinking about transition, the changes, right? Is like then it was just like mint flavors or like something along those lines. Not really so much the fruity side, whereas you look back so many years now, 10 years later, and all these fruity flavors, who is that catered to? Because in the field, they know that they can be profitable without the flavor,
Absolutely.
just from regular cigarettes or like that transition. If I'm not mistaken, right. The start of it was e-cigs, where it's like more catered to the smoker trying to change.
Yeah.
Right. See, that's the thing. It's like, even when I was in that training, I'm seriously, I was just, man, I took all kinds of notes. I'm just saying, I just couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. Just to think, that my kids or any, me and somebody else's kids being hooked into stuff,
Yeah.
me and you kind of, know firsthand, I'm sure you do too, but, a couple, they were even going over the different types they call seizures, like I said before, but they said it was a way to do it. And I respect that. There's a way to do it because you don't want everybody, we heard that on conversation. You get, so not that part, but definitely getting the education that we need, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not afraid to speak about these things if it's going to help someone, but you got to put it in the right hands, right? I really believe that put it in the hands of the parents, getting them armed up to understand that, hey, listen, this is what's going on right in front of your eyes. You just don't know. They were even going over the different vapes. It was a vape. If you could look at this one, he was just showing it was a vape, and this is a key fob, right? But it was a vape that was a key fob.
What?
It was a vape that was a key fob. It looked kind of like this. It was a little bigger. Right. It was kind of like this, but it was a little bigger, but that was a key fob. It was that. Had a pin. Same sort of thing. Had a pin with the hitter on it. So you can hide it, right? So they're getting, definitely, they're getting advanced in what they do. But look who they're targeting. The one thing he would say, and I remember, this triangle. It's cheap, right? Easy to get, and then the flavor was one of the things. It was on that. Triangle as well.
The name too,
right, and that
they drag you in,
right, and that's what I said. And today that's what we're getting into. But like you said, when you had the monologue, what you was talking about at first. Look at the flavors you picked. That's all good. Strawberry, mango, them all enticing flavors. Cotton candy. Blue raspberry. I like cherry myself, but I ain't not on that. But that's what I'm saying, though. But, they might not appeal, but that's what I'm saying. But kids, and thinking about it, so they kind of, I think to me, maybe this is the wrong word to use. I can't think it's kind of, to me, kind of sinister in a way because it's like, look, to me, let's put it all out there. On a cigarette pack, of course, you see the little label on the bottom, the warning, what it can cause. It took a long time to get that on there, that's what I said. So, and like I told you, I just don't think people know the effects of this, vaping, we're getting to know those, but the smoking, we already know it. And that's the thing. It's like people, they're still doing it. And it's like, we're picking them, like I said, when we were doing, our transportation, to non-emergency medical, about over 60%. Get me wrong if I say this, over 60% of them were there for health-related reasons due to smoking. Just saying.
Wow.
I would definitely say something like that. When it comes to it, and it was, but you don't see them. They barely walk into the car. Oxygen tanks, different things, things like that. So it's like, and that's the thing. I never even thought, that even when I was little, I never thought, that I didn't want to do it, but I never really thought it was bad until I really seen my aunts and them kind of struggling from smoking.
You figure on that note,
see,
if you look into some older advertisements some older advertisements marketed cigarettes as being healthy.
Oh yeah, the Marlboro Man, the Joe Camel.
Yeah.
They try to make it look cool.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, so when we talk about like with the liquids, right, and vaping, right, when we get down into it, it's way, the flavors aren't just for taste. That's the strategy they use, but it's like the flavoring chemicals they put in there, right? I mean,
popcorn lung,
it could be,
like
but it got to think, but it's not designed to be inhaled. That's the thing about it. It's not designed, and the sweeteners, right? It makes it smooth and enjoyable, right? I understand that. But, and also some of the cooling agents they use as well to reduce that throat harshness that it comes up. These are all things, right? But the nicotine's in there. And that's the thing, when we speak about
it's the ice flavor. That's what drug me in with watermelon ice. That's what they got me. But,
right. And then some of these things, they're not meant to be inhaled in the lungs. Right. Some of the things I said, the flavoring chemicals, the sweeteners, the cool, agents, that, and of course the nicotine are not, and that's the thing.
And I think that just goes like, ain't nothing supposed to go in our lungs but oxygen.
Exactly.
That's even where like a lot of people get like cancers and stuff from like explosions or like collapsed buildings or little things that they clean with inside. Like, so you figure that's just a fast track, no middleman.
It's like and that's weed killer stuff. They cause cancer and all that.
And so when they inhale them, right, it bypasses the digestion, right, and then it goes straight to the lung tissue. This is what it's talking about. And then it enters the bloodstream a lot faster, and that's where the impact comes from, completely. And that's a lot of why we know. And that's like I said, not a real smoking expert, but I'm just saying these are some things you start to see and be like, hold on, now this don't make any sense. I mean, this is something we have to, really kind of look at and understand, getting real, right? To understand it, I mean, that's why, a cigarette may not be appealing to a little middle schooler, right? Number one, I don't know how hard it would be to get. I don't know that, but I mean, but this flavoring and stuff like that they're doing, it's really kind of lowering the resistance, of these things because it removes the warning. Think about it, because you got to think. I mean, I remember, like I said, while I didn't smoke, I knew the difference between a filter and the non-filter smoke. I remember, I don't want to say the name of it. It was I won't say the name of the cigarette, but it didn't have a filter. And this is the kind of my granddad smoked. And I noticed, I said, that's what I figured that guy, that's got to be, you know what I mean? But that's all he was smoking, right? Yeah. I mean, but even the name of that was it, it wasn't one of those big name ones. I ain't gonna say the name, but it wasn't a big name one, but it was definitely something that you think, oh shit, this ain't nothing, because really tobacco is harsh and bitter. So who wants that? So ain't nobody trying. I mean, let's get it. Ain't nobody trying. I'm not gonna sit there and say I haven't smoked before, because I was real young, and that's one of the things I did not like. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I didn't like it. It was harsh. It really wasn't pleasant at all.
No, I'm not doing this. They stink really bad.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you gotta think. So you switch it from that ideology. Think about who wants this? Who wants the taste of this? But now we're flipping it. What are the flavors? Smooth, sweet, easy to inhale, colorful, right? And that's the thing. That's so to me, is that bad? You know what I mean? Does that mean that no natural is bad for you? One would think. One would think, but then again, that's the thing. They trying to get this first use, trying to speed up, right? The fact of what somebody can keep on doing. And keep on getting these repeat customers, right?
Catching them earlier on.
Exactly right.
A longer addiction.
Keeping them hooked.
No, but they ain't. I mean, that's what I said. In the team, guess what? They ain't sitting there saying, "Man, shoot, I wish I'd give me some nicotine today." Right. You know what they saying? I wish I'd get that mango.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's strawberry.
What flavor you got? What flavor you got?
Exactly. Right? So guess what it does? It opens that door.
Yeah, man.
It opens that door, and that's something that. We really think about it, because that's the thing. I mean, once I really thought, I mean, like I said, if I had told a story about something that, I did in a store thinking it was a candy bar. Now it tasted like chocolate, but it was really X-Lax. I was stealing. I know I was stealing, but that was a natural consequence. I was a little boy then, but that was a natural consequence. But it tastes like chocolate, right? And we already know,
How'd that work out?
It didn't work out too good. I was in the bathroom like that time. But I'm just saying. But that's the thing. But the taste, it tasted kind of like it tasted like chocolate. And I thought I'm getting away, but I'm giving me some free candy, which I was, like I said, taking it out that box till I realized what it really was. You know, and that's the thing. So even that was tied because if we want castor oil, whoo, that's terrible. Then you know a little bit, but he don't know nothing about that. That castor oil, tell him.
Yeah,
it's a terrible taste thing.
Yeah, it'll make you.
Oh man, they remember they had that little chocolate in there. Then it tastes a little bit better. That's flavoring. Think about it. That's how we. I mean, that's how
it'll help you work things out.
That's all it is. But that's the thing. But nobody's wanting to take straight castor oil. They don't even want that because it tastes nasty. Yeah, like a cigarette could, right? But what if it flavored it? Wow, a little bit different, right? I mean, a little bit. We all, I mean, that's what we all. So these flavors are tied to. I mean, you got to think what they tied to. When we talk about, psychologically, right? I mean, think about it. Candy, flavored candy, right? I mean, we got the Tootsie Roll, right? But do you like just a basic Tootsie Roll?
I like the flavor ones
more. So you're saying, but the thing about it, that's just candy, man. That, you know what I mean? Think about it, right? And then we talk about, I know you walked in there with something. I ain't gonna say the name of the soft drink, but it wasn't just that soft drink. It was
flavored.
It was a flavored soft drink.
It was a strawberry.
See, that's what I'm saying. So it's flavors and everything. So it flavors and drinks, right? And that's what we're familiar with those things.
Yes.
Right? We're familiar with the things you said, strawberry this, mango this, cotton candy this, right? We're familiar with those things. So why wouldn't they be safe? And guess what? Enjoyable. Oh, shoot, we get hey, listen.
That sounds so good, don't it?
So your brain associates it. And now we throw that vaping in there. And now think about it. It associates with these like safe and enjoyable things. So it's really a behavioral design more than anything. That's why we're talking about this. Not because we're trying to be smart. No, because why can't we get, really dressed up in some of the lingo that they're doing and some of the strategies that they're, using against our own youth. Right. That's the thing. And that's what we don't want.
Want to work strategies out on them to I have a 14-year-old son, and I really need to work out a strategy to talk to him about the two.
We're doing it. Yeah. I mean, I think we're doing it. The reason why I say it is how they consume things now, as far as, looking at things and stuff like that. Maybe not the whole video, right, but isolating you to speaking a little bit about it, right? This is what we do. I mean, I've had my daughter on here. We've had, youth on here as well. I mean, this is how we reach youth. It's not the only way. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
It's not the only way, but it's definitely a way we could try to use.
It's the way they relate.
Right. And I think, it's something I put on there, I think that when you only fail when you stop trying.
Yes.
That's when you fail when you stop trying.
I know all about it.
Right. Exactly. So we're going to just keep trying inventive ways to do it. Me and Mikey sat down. I mean, we have a list of classes we do, for Donahue, right? Mm-hmm. Work skills, education skills, right? But we thought about it, bro. Let's make it fun. Now, here's the thing. Now, make it fun, make it more, active. You know what I mean? And then doing things.
Yes.
Still getting information. But if I say, well, shoot, Mike, you didn't really go over that. You know what I mean? But he did. But he just encapsulated it in an activity that they can kind of, go over and summarize more in the end. And then understand, man, they don't even know what they're doing. Kind of like Karate Kid. Remember Karate Kid when he was teaching them karate? He didn't even know it. How was he teaching them? Painting and washing the car. Right? Like, I don't want to do that. I ain't doing this stuff, man. It's stupid. Yeah. You know what I mean? When we gonna learn some karate? And then he showed him. Yeah, that's what you were learning. So people learn a lot. And I'm sorry to say that, like more hands-on learning now. Yeah, man. Is the thing, and that's what we're trying to. And we'll figure it out for this too. It's just, you have the things there. That we can use. We have the information. It's just how we get it out, right? Yeah. And this is what they're doing. When we really talk about, because you don't get addicted, right? To nicotine or vaping right off the bat, right? Some people might, but the first step is what? It's just a flavor in your mind. Think about it. It's just a flavor. Yeah. This ain't nothing for a child. Exactly right. This ain't so the first hit might not be a meat feel like, right? Not a lot of harshness to it, right? Right. So it's really no immediate effect. There's no negative reaction to it because it's not really right. But then guess what though? We start liking it. The flavors start
to cut on every vape how much percentage nicotine that they have. A lot of them are very strong.
But see, why would they put it? If they put that on there, then I can say, oh no, that's what. No, I'm gonna put this flavor on there, right? So the flavor, they become, definitely become enjoyable. And guess what? Like he just said, what kind you got? So now it's sociable, right? So it's socially we use it, right? Yeah. So what's the urgency to stop? There isn't.
Instead of a bicycle, they're talking about what kind of bicycle you got. It's what kind of vape you got now.
But that's just step 2. Right, that's just step 2. So step 1 is just a flavor, right? Step 2, I like it, but then what step comes next? I need it. I need this, right? Because now you guess what? Your nicotine dependency kind of builds, right? Kind of builds up. So guess what happens? Your brain starts to crave that dopamine release. Yeah. Think about it. Now we're in there. Now guess what? Use becomes routine. Just like anything else, and that's why I would say sinister, because I'm like, dang, well, you don't think of it like that. But I mean, and you can take those steps for a lot of different things. It ain't only for vaping. You can take those steps when we talk about it. When we go down for Bible study a lot, we talk about a lot of times the trip up. It's all these things it kind of relates to as well. And that's a lot of what we talk about as well. That's why it's good. Great to have you on. Like I said, it was great to have you over at the recovery. I mean, you're not alone. It was just different. I hadn't been there before, but I mean, it was good. But I mean, really having this stuff out there for people to kind of consume is a good thing too. Exactly right. I mean, exactly right. And have it because the flavor, that you talk, the flavor kind of masks the warning.
Absolutely.
But the nicotine builds the addiction, though. That's the thing we have to understand as well.
Kids, young kids, their brains are not fully developed.
Wow. That's exactly right. They're not until they're mid-20s.
Tie into that too, and also like bringing in kind of that sinister aspect, like the advertisements and marketing that they do. It's colorful, it's bright. Who does that appeal to? Not necessarily an adult.
No, you're right.
And so even I believe, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't know how much they enforce it or if it fully went through or what, but if I'm not mistaken, Beckley had passed an ordinance not too long ago to cut down on vape shops having so many colorful things and stuff inside of the windows or having stuff like that. But at the same time too, it's I ain't gonna say which one, but there's a vape shop not too far here. You drive past, you can see backpacks in the window.
Concealment. These backpacks are concealment backpacks too. They're not only just backpacks; they're for concealing these things, right?
They know who that draws in.
You just said it.
That's not appealing to adults.
And when you say about lights, that's one of the things you said about lights, right? We know I ain't gonna say the donut place, but what they say, the light on. Yeah. And when they do, when you see that light on, what they do, go in there and get them. They fresh, right? So it ain't like we know, but see, they're using marketing that already works, but they're using it for this, like you said, would be sinister way to gain, access to these young youth, right? Who, like you said, I'm glad you said it, that definitely their brains aren't developed, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, so and guess what happens? And over time, though, it increases that impulsivity. It increases it, right? Yeah. And then it reduces the attention span as well, which definitely gives you that pathway to addiction. That's exactly what gets you to addiction. So, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying a nicotine addiction could turn the others, but it ain't like it can't. Either it ain't like it can't either. So so you get that flavoring.
I think that if they even didn't have nicotine in them, that kids would still get addicted to them just for the flavor.
See, but right, but then they would just be puffing air, basically. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I mean, I know it's still probably an effect to it, but it's all those chemicals and things like that as well, which is hurting them as well, and that's the thing. But you got to think, think about it. It's easy to start. It's hard to detect that it's really harmful. You don't really know it's harmful, right?
Yeah, just put kids in hospitals.
But it's designed to repeat. That's what it's designed to do. Remember that cheap, the easy to get. And then also that flavors.
A lot of them, when you puff in on them, a lot of them will light up, pretty collars, and do
it's all that
pretty little things.
Got ones now I've seen where you can connect it to your phone, Bluetooth,
Yeah.
play some music.
Yeah,
off of it.
yeah.
Change
They
the
work it out,
monitor.
yeah.
So what happens is like you just said it, man. I mean that's crazy, but that's what it is.
Sickening, man. It's really
Yeah,
sad.
it is. So students, they hit the vape before classes, in between classes, right?
Yeah.
They trying to get they trying to get to that bathroom. Now the schools are getting better. The schools are getting better on this, when it comes to that, but they disguise in these pods, in so many different ways, and that's the thing. So really kind of coming up with it. We'll talk a little bit about it on another show, but there's also these patches they use that they really these nicotine patches, or the pouch, that they put in their mouth, that you can't really detect that because so that's another thing, being looking at it. So but in friend groups, what happens, try this flavor because of peer pressure. Let's get it right.
Yeah.
Group think.
Right, sharing devices, right? Because no one really sees it. Think about it, they don't see it as serious.
It's harmless to them.
Right, and then a parent. I mean, like I said, guess what? I mean, sometimes and this is not a knock on the parents, but think about it. I mean, you think we burn either incense or a candle or something like that, so it was smelling good or whatever. So you ain't really thinking, shoot, they in there smoking, they in there doing something because it smells. They don't really recognize it, right?
Right.
And so it's no odor of cigarettes like before. Now we all been around cigarette smoke. We know what it's like, right?
From a mile.
My favorite aunt, man. I mean, if I left her house, because I used to go to her house a lot. You've been over Candy's house. I mean, they knew it. I mean, because she smoked a whole lot, and I just wish, like I said before, but I know the effects of it. Let's get it right. I know the effects of cigarettes. How it tore her, apart too as well. But these things, like with these vapes and also with these flavors, right, it's easier to hide. I mean, so the users, you're not able to find that as well. And that's, something that, we're getting into. And that's why, I want to talk a little bit about, me and Mike talk a little bit about Catch My Breath, which is a youth vaping prevention program. Like I said, for that, we, definitely, we're trained to do. I mean, and really want to try to bring some events out and start to talk about this. Because while I'm telling you about this flavoring, I'm kind of, going ahead of myself, sort of, but we really want to bring it out because I really want people to know about these flavors and how they're hooking the kids. Yeah. But if we can prevent the vaping period, now we're talking a little bit younger, or middle school or high school, whatever, this is something, that it definitely speaks about. And that's what, Catch My Breath is an evidence-based vaping program, prevention program, right? I mean, and it is free to get involved, but it's definitely empowering our youth to be vape free.
They use pretty colors.
And you just said, well, but why not? But when we think about something, when you're promoting something, right?
Right.
You think about it. We're trying to, promote this, trying to combat this, right? Now, I'm not saying we're going to delve down into the same thing, but still, yet we got to let them know. Listen, this is what you need to look for, right?
Well, I was thinking maybe they're doing that because of the vape shop.
And they could be. Like I said, this is, when it talks about the program, it's effective. When it talks about Catch My Breath, because it's evidence-based. That's a good thing. When you always want to try something that's evidence-based more than not, because that's something that we're just trying, and that's what this has done. It has a vast amount of resources that developed from the University of Texas Health and Science Center in Houston, and that's where it came from. And they train. They do a global training, for people.
Online?
Yeah, it's online. We took it online. We broke into. We actually, which we didn't even know this, was on Zoom. You can break into small groups on Zoom. So we broke into a small group, like I was in his group or he was in mine, but we broke into small groups for a little while. We went over some reasons why, why they wanted to take the class. We had all kinds of different people in it. We had teachers, you had parents.
Really?
But for me,
that's cool.
But for me, it hit me hard. They didn't really respond to it, but I did tell them, like, we've had kids that we've known that were vaping. Now, see, and that's the thing, not really being educated about it. But I'm thinking vaping, I said, well, shoot, I never equated the nicotine, right? And I'm sure this wasn't the reason only, but it might have been some of it, but a couple kids were having repeated seizures,
right.
And the only thing, because, kids don't tell you much. It's the only thing they would kind of say vaping. They wouldn't say anything else, and they wouldn't tell me right off the bat, but I could hear, right? The vape, I was like, well, shoot, how's that? I'm thinking, that ain't causing this or whatever. Then I dipped down and I went to that tall cop, presentation, and it very well could have been a lot to do with what some of the things that they were doing. Right, with that exactly, and that's so I'm like, man, this is serious. And I knew it was serious then. Now, one thing we did learn during the training, and Mike can attest to this, it's not a whole lot. I mean, while we're focusing on it, it's not a whole lot of kids vaping.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
it was around the it was like 6 or 7%
exactly.
Of
so
like,
it was like
teens or like
right.
high school age individuals use it.
But we care about those 6. I mean, don't get me wrong. We still care about the 6, but but they did. So I'm not saying that
6% too much.
You're exactly right. Especially not having the definitely having all the tools they need in order to deal with these things.
Which another thing too, that it was a decrease. They said it was like closer to like 19% at I'm sorry, closer to 20%.
Right.
Whenever you hit like 2019, like closer to his peak.
Yeah.
So those numbers are coming down. It's just
so programs do help. I mean, this prevention helps. It does. It does. I mean, and you might not see it now, but like you said, but now you start to see these numbers. You start to see them decrease. Start seeing them get, and let's get versed on these things, like for the parents and things like that. There's, on there they have, parent education as well on Catch My Breath. The program they have, like I said before, definitely things that can help, understand, educate them, about, e-cigarettes, right? About, vapes, definitely things like that. So this is just something that we start to understand. And then, like I said before, it was just a program that if we, like I said, you can say you have a program, right? But the program is only as good as the things that you're trying to gather the information, right?
Yes.
And start and not only gather, trying to put it out there to people as well. So I mean, it's good to say you Catch My Breath instructor, but I mean, if we have it and don't do anything with it, then what happens, right? So, but one thing, I think so. The groundwork is to cut out this vaping part. And this is what Catch My Breath will do. This is what we're trying to, put that initiative out in order to do that. Because if we can do that, then it won't get to this flavoring thing. Yeah. They got it out there to hook you. You see that. Yeah. I mean, that's what we'll get back on now, but they got it out there to hook you. And that's so,
I'll check it out myself.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, but they got it out there to hook you. And this is how they're doing it. I mean, but like I said before, I'm not going to sit here today and say, oh, we're defeated. No, we're not defeated. We're not defeated because guess what? We can read, we can study ourselves up, and then we also can put out good information for people to understand. And also, get partners to do it as well. Not only us, I mean, but we get the partners to do it as well. We always say Sound Collective is about a collective. It's not about, one certain, person or one certain group of people. I mean, it's not, and it shouldn't be. And it shouldn't be. And that's why I say, getting back into, and we start to talk a little bit about it for the rest of the time, is really, some of that exposure, like I said before, that the nicotine does. But, they doing it in schools, they doing it at home with right under our noses, right? And that's the thing. Because, like I said before, again, it's designed not to seem dangerous.
Right under our noses. I know you probably remember this one. Would just be like another instance where we had to become more mindful. We had a camp going on at a place in Oak Hill where they had vape detectors in the bathrooms. At that time, I had never seen nothing like no vape detector. Never heard nothing like no vape detector. Yeah, it looks like the one we seen looked like a fire alarm inside the bathroom. And then in that training, we also talked to, in my group, we talked about it, where another lady said at the school that she worked at, they have like metal detectors that can detect it at the front of the school too. So like that was like another instance where it was like, we got to be more mindful because we were doing a camp there, a training there that was 2 days. Okay.
So the first day,
first day,
they said it was going off. They said it was going off. That monitor was going off.
Really?
Yeah. They said it was going off all day.
So they work.
Yeah.
They work.
And he said, and we got cameras pointed outside the bathroom too. So time sensitive things we could tell exactly who it was.
Right. So we didn't have any idea.
Yeah.
But now the next day we was on it.
Yeah.
He said it didn't go off one time. He was on it. He said he was on because we just didn't know. But that's the thing.
But that also speaks to like individuals like doing something about it, stepping up. Absolutely. Now that we became more mindful of it in that instance, we did something about it and it wasn't an issue. or an issue that we could see.
But the scary thing about it is we surely didn't give them the vape to come in, but they had them already equipped. You know what I mean? They already had them. Now I think we're getting a little bit more education on it now, but
so if we did something like that on like a community level, like same thing, if we take certain initiatives to make sure like it's not around, not away, it can kind of be that same case. Like kids are becoming more mindful of themselves and their own health.
Yeah.
I mean,
self-aware.
Yeah, because it's we always talk about this, but we mean it. I mean, choose your path. What path are you going to choose, though? You know what I mean? That's a lot of what happens as well. Yeah. I mean, choose your path. I mean, and that's something that we have to understand too when we're doing this. I mean, what path are we going to choose? I mean, and that's something.
We're all going uphill, but we need to choose the right path.
We got to choose the right path. I mean, regardless of we can do this. We can do this every week if we want to, right? But eventually, you're going to have to choose your path. You're going to have to choose your path. I can only tell you, how definitely how dangerous this stuff is, right? Because there's evidence based about these things as well. Yeah. How dangerous it is. I mean, it's even going over some statistics of it. But that's one of the things that it definitely speaks about. To understand that. One thing I do want to mention though, real quick, just to let you know. I mean, it doesn't. They didn't make it safe. The makers of these vapes and things like that, these flavors, they just made it sweeter. They didn't make it safer. Right. I mean, a lot of people. I learned this up there. At the talk. I love that. I love that presentation. But it was like just because vapes were safer didn't make it healthier though. You know what I mean? Or do you think it's an alternative to cigarettes? But it didn't make it healthier. Right. I mean, just because safe don't mean better. You know what I mean? It doesn't. I mean, not when it's safer don't mean that. It doesn't. So they just made it sweeter.
They strategized to use the names
right
and the colors, and I laid them down, and it was really, really hard.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Really hard.
Because the flavor is what gets you in.
Yeah.
The nicotine is what keeps you there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. And that's what I said. If it tasted like what it actually does to your body, nobody would do it.
Nobody do it.
Nobody would do it. Let's get it right.
Gummy bears.
Right. And you just said it doesn't feel dangerous. That's what makes it dangerous.
Well, okay. So you said it doesn't feel dangerous. Just to take a moment to say the actual effects that it may have. You kind of mentioned earlier popcorn lung. Yeah. That is one of those things, an irreversible lung condition.
Yeah.
But other things, especially in our youth, that we have to be mindful of, the brain continues to develop until the age of 25. If these individuals start using things like vapes, it can impact their memory, focus, and ability to learn, which are huge things.
Absolutely.
Other ones, increased risk of addiction, linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, mood swings. On the lung and breathing side, it might give you a chronic cough, shortness of breath, wheezing. Okay. On the heart side, nicotine can increase your heart rate and increase your blood pressure. So if anybody already had any underlying, issues there, it's not a good thing. Well, it's not a good thing either way.
Not a good thing. Yeah.
Next, addiction and dependency. Of course, nicotine is highly addictive. But teens who develop an addiction early are known to have higher rates of irritability, anxiety, and difficulty concentrating. And then, of course, it's not one that is known outright to be a gateway substance, but of course, it could lead to things such as smoking cigarettes or smoking other things.
Yeah.
See, that's good.
Very well.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, that's the thing. And Richard, real quick, because Nick, you didn't mention something. And I don't want to just gloss over it. You said it was hard.
Yeah, really hard. I would sleep with it in my hand. I would wake up in the middle of the night, puff. It's just an addiction that I didn't need. And there was it grabs a hold of you very quickly. I laid down cigarettes just so I could vape, and the flavors and the names are very. They know what they're doing when they target people. I know I'm not a teen, but
and you know, and the one time, you know, the weird thing is, you know, that I never really thought, but then once I, you know, like I said, did the training, but also, you know, with a cigarette, you know, there is an end as far as that cigarette. You can't smoke it, like, you know what I mean. But think about it. That the vapes are, you know, what I mean, there's really no clear end point to it, really. I mean, you can pick, you can pick a hitter from, you know, 100 puffs or whatever. I mean, different.
50,000.
Think about it. Easy to hit. I mean, so easy to hit repeatedly. Think about that.
Yeah.
With minimum smell still really easy to hide, right? So often, what they were inhaling more nicotine than you could even imagine.
One thing you can hit if you're trying to hide that you're doing it. You can inhale a hit and hold it in long enough to where you just don't want nothing.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can hold it. I mean, I shouldn't even have said that because that might get somebody an idea.
Well, I mean, but it's not. But because what happens, and this is why we don't. This is why you don't want to keep on increasing that use, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this is why, because it creates that irritation. So when you saying hold it in, think about it. You might try it, but it's going to irritate your throat.
It's going to cause you're going to wheeze. You're going to
that's right.
Get shortness of breath really bad.
That's the thing.
Can't struggle walking up a flight of stairs or a trail. And, you know,
right. I mean, and that's the thing. You just don't want. You know, you definitely don't. Real quick, Nick. So tell me this though. All right, you said, all right, I'm ready to put this down. How were you behaviorally after you put it down? I mean, I'm just saying, right? It's a drawback to it, right?
It's a little irritable, a little irritability, but you just got to think of the rewards of not using.
Yeah, but there is. I mean, you kind of cynical, but there is a behavior side to this too. Once you start, right? Because it starts to get that way. Let me ask you this, but let's say not having it. Okay, let's say I don't know the batteries. I know it takes batteries.
Yeah, whatever battery.
You know, your battery died. How you feeling now?
Oh man, I would have two batteries. So when one died,
see what I'm saying?
I would have one charge.
So this is how. I mean, and this is why I said I'm glad you. But that's the thing, you know. It's really bad. I mean, it's really bad because now you're talking about the because anything we do, the tolerance starts to rise.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you start with one of those things. So that's the, you know, when we talk about when you would then going back to catch my breath, you know, they talk a lot about e-cigarettes and Juuls, right?
Yeah.
Which are really, really low as far as how many times you would do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just getting up to the vape is like the big leagues, right? I mean, that is a vape too.
They're saying now, and it says it's a rough comparison, but because of they're looking at specifically the nicotine content. Right. The nicotine content, one disposable vape could be anywhere from 10 to 20 packs of cigarettes.
Think about that. And getting to what I was saying even about my aunt, I noticed that she would go nonstop. More because she liked to talk.
Yeah.
I like to go over there and talk. I mean, we were talking about whatever, but I never thought, because it was just normal for me to see her light up a cigarette after cigarette in an hour.
Yeah.
Until one day I went over and thought, man, I want to see, I mean, at least 5 or 6 in an hour.
In an hour. Yeah.
In an hour. You know,
when I first started vaping, one would last me almost 2 weeks, and then I got about to the end of it, it lasted me 3 days.
See what I'm saying? So that's the hook we're talking about. That tolerance going up, right? Right, the tolerance going up. That's what we're trying to stop. I mean, really are. We're trying to, you know, but we're going to attack it from the ground up. A lot of times we try to get them. No, we just attack it from the ground up. Just letting you know today, though, that flavor, you need to look into it, because that's a lot of why that's hooking them. But you know,
ingredients list.
Right. But let's talk about, you know, when we start, you know, our initiative, right? Catch My Breath initiative through TSK Pathways, starting with from the ground up and starting with vaping. period. Starting with the e-cigarettes, starting with the jewels, they're still putting them out now. You know,
Yeah,
they got, I mean, I don't, get no names, but it's one with a Z. They putting it up. I see him putting it up on the thing. I think that's some type of e-cigarette or something like that. It starts with a Z or whatever. I see it around sometimes. But I mean, just different things like that are definitely something that, that we need to do. Like I said, we need to be aware of. I mean, we need to definitely make, a better effort at this as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like I said, for, kind of wrapping up, just really wanted to kind of roll this out, to kind of tell us, what we're looking at. I mean, what we're going to look into, what we're going to attack, really. I mean, in a way, through, information, through, presentation, in order to get the word out to literature as well, right? And also activity as well.
Yeah.
And make them understand we can steer away from this direction to prevent this. It's better to be proactive than reactive.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
And proactive is stopping it before it happens, and then reactive, of course, is when it happens. Now you gotta react to it. We know the effects. We know the damages of these things: vaping, smoking. We know the damages of them.
Yeah.
Let's stop it right off the bat. Let's stop. And this, and the thing about I want to say, go ahead. Come on.
I wanted to comment.
Okay.
And I will say, this could be a bigger thing, a governmental thing or something like that,
Absolutely.
right? Because if I'm not mistaken, in the UK, they recently just passed a ban where anybody who at this point in time isn't already at the legal age to buy vape products or tobacco products, they cannot buy it for the rest of their life.
Oh, really?
They will never have the ability to buy it.
And that's something, like I said, but that to me, is, and it is. I mean, a lot of times, and that's what we're trying to do. I mean, while they don't have that, in place, it's just like anything else. I mean, they can probably pick it up. I mean, illegally or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you want to do it, but this is definitely to stop it before it starts. I mean, we're going to this, this level, and I think we can do that. I mean, I think we can, get better at that as well. I mean, we just have to have, like I said, for more innovative ways in order to do it. But one way to do it is to come straight forward, let them know. But like I said before, sometimes we could be dealing with, elementary school students as well. I mean, this program goes from elementary on up. To catch my breath initiative goes from from elementary on up. So it might not be though, we have to kind of filter it down. It's kind of like we did today. We gave them some information about flavoring, but it's one of those things you really got to delve into it. I mean, there's plenty of stuff online you can get into. You go look for the thing, Tall Cop. If you go follow him on Facebook, he has some stuff as well, and on YouTube as well. And like I said before, I think even the Raleigh County, United for Prevention, right? They have some great things online as well, and you can go look at those things as well. Like I said before, I really think that uniting, and then like the word is in there, united. I think it really helps.
Yes.
When we're a group of people like we were over at Oak Hill, like a group
the
of
outreach
people.
program.
Right, the outreach program, great. I mean, still keep on going with that as well. And like I said, we'll put out more. Just to recap a little bit of, about the summit. I mean, we've had a real busy month of April. We've done a lot of things. We did Easter egg hunt. We did a shoe drive. Just did a youth drug event. I mean, youth opioid prevention event as well. And I want to thank Mrs. Maynard for allowing us to use the facility, a great facility over there in Mount Hope, and just getting more information out. Right, kind of not going to slow down by any means. We're going to get prepped up, ready for the back to school on August 16th. Over at New River Park. It'll be from 2 to 6 over there. So really just, trying to focus on a lot of those things, and just some other pop-up things possibly coming up. Definitely want to, mention that, we have definitely August 16th. May 16th, August, May 16th, right? We have something coming up as well, for definitely, for everyone. I mean, we talked about it before when we were on last week. We had talked about, really Square Business podcast going live. And they're going to be going live, and it's going to be at the Raleigh Playhouse Theater. I got it right this time at 6:00. They're selling tickets for $10. You go on Facebook, Square Business. That's with BIDNESS, and you can go there. Definitely buy some tickets and support them. Great podcast. I mean, really, like I said before, if you want to go, Nick, you can go. We're gonna go up there. It's gonna be live, right?
Yeah.
I think Nick's trying to get into some podcasts, and we talk about it now.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's something to get the word out. I think it's a way. I mean, an innovative way to get the word out to people, and then to really try to help save lives. Excuse me.
Trying to help people learn.
That's all
from
it is. That's
my
all.
mistakes.
Exactly. And that's the. Sometimes why do I need you to make it if I already made it? I can tell you about it, right?
Absolutely.
And
man.
while I've maybe not been a smoker, I've definitely had people affected by it in my
Yeah.
life. That I miss dearly. And who knows? Other than a lot of the effects from smoking, really what caused them, really a lot of problems later on in life.
Yes.
So this is why we continue to do it. Like I said before, and those definitely those who are having problems with nicotine addiction and smoking, definitely go see a health professional. We're not professionals in it. We're just trying to help give you the information. But go to a health professional today. Go to the health professional and ask them. You want to quit smoking. You want. I mean, even if it's a kid, if they don't think that just tell them don't do it, it's going to keep on working. No, go get them some help. I mean, there's help out there for all of them. Really, sometimes they need counseling. Same thing. We got family options, a couple other great places around here that you can get counseling from as well.
Sir.
So let's do that. I mean, like I said, we'll bring you more information. We'll actually start rolling out. Definitely when we're going to start the trainings. It's a 4-week training. We're going to roll them out. I mean, and see what we can do. So I want to thank, like I said, Mike, Nick. I mean, I thank you all for attending. Like I said, for those watching.